Hi, and welcome back to my Rug Hook and Talk show. Okay, so we're at the end. We're binding. And for those of you who are just tuning in, my name is Annette, and I'm a rug hooker for many years. And we're on the end of this rug. The very end. We are at the binding stage. So if you're just tuning in, I'm doing a twill tape binding. Let me see if I can show you the front a little. Can you get that? There you go. You can see the twill tape is going to be around the end. It's still pinned. The back is the part that we're working on attaching it. And then it will be done after my label is on. So go ahead and get your cup of coffee or your tea or your wine, whatever time zone we're in. It's the morning here, so I'm doing my coffee. And I hope whoever is tuning in that you're enjoying this and that you feel like you have a little company while you're hooking. And so for many of you, from what I've heard in forums and on the websites and all that, that this part is the worst, it's the most unenjoyable part of doing your rug. I know, it is, but it has to get done. So I decided to work on it while I'm taping because it is so tedious, and I usually take it upstairs, but I didn't even want to be bothered doing that. So we're here working on it, and let's continue. I'm doing a single thread, and basically it's like a whip stitch going into the backing and pulling up your thread just so that we could attach this to cover the binding, the raw edge. That's the idea of this. It turns out to be decorative. In many ways people make it even more decorative than it needs to be functional, but this was purposely a functional addition to the rug to bind that edge, because then it would just be turned under most of the time and it's a raw edge. And in the beginning it was burlap, so burlap, like linen, is just a loose weave fabric which will just unravel, and it will not be good. You will not get much wear out of this rug before the edges are all falling apart and not looking so good. So the twill tape was a method. Actually, the very first method I did was the cording underneath the backing, and that was hand stitched all around. Then I whip stitched that with the tapestry thread. So that was the very first way I finished a rug, and that would be my all yarn rug, my very first rug. So if you look at video number 6, it's a rug. It's just a little gallery of my hooked rugs. You'll see that one. It should mention that it's my very first rug. Okay, a little knot in that, so we pulled it out. Okay, and it obviously, the more time you put into your binding, the more beautiful it's going to be. But I'm not one for elaborate bindings. I kind of just like a very functional, neat binding, something that will just keep this safe and from excess wear, and that's about it. I mean, that's what I shoot for. I find it easy, I find it functional. It's a primitive art form, this rug hooking. I kind of look at it as, and I try to keep to that, which is not to say that my thread came out. It's not to say that we cannot change that and add to it. Absolutely. What I see some women do with their rugs is amazing, and I'm just not as ambitious as all that to do certain styles of hooking, but I've gotten into the dyeing, and that is a lot of fun, and that is probably where I'm at right now. I enjoy dyeing, and I would love to start even dyeing variegated yarns. I mean, because clearly I don't need to do any dyeing for yarn when you've got Seal Harbor rugs. Their yarn is insane. I've mentioned them before only because I love their yarn. It is the color charts are extensive. There's over 200 colors. You cannot go wrong with Seal Harbor rugs at $10 a skein. So I'm going to keep pushing that, and hopefully I'm going to be taking a visit there soon, and bring back some footage. I'm not sure if I'm going to get there this winter or not now, it seems, because there's lots of snow in Vermont and Maine and New Hampshire and all that place. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it this weekend. But if I do, I'll bring back footage. And you'll meet the owner. She said that would be great fun to tape a little outing to Seal Harbor Rugs in Vermont. Dorset, Vermont, for anybody who's watching out there. You probably already know about it though, and I'm jealous that you can actually go to the store and buy it right there. That would be cool. So that's what I plan on doing, is bringing home lots and lots of yarn. This rug that I'm working on is all wool, but I work with both, and I work with both in one rug. It doesn't matter. I'll put both of them in one rug. I love it. It makes very interesting textures, and it breaks up also just working with one. It gets a little hard getting through there. Okay, so this one's ending right now for me. I'll have to rethread and pull that up. Okay. And I try to end it with a little back stitch in here and there. And that's it. I really clip it right close to the binding. And that is the end of that piece. Okay, so let me give you an idea of what it's starting to look like. Okay, when it's all blocked, which is when you steam it out, it'll look really good, and you'll be able to really see the finished rug with the binding. And I think it's starting to look really nice. So I'm going to keep going here, take a little coffee break. So for those who are watching, subscribe, because I'm trying my best to get these videos up as often as I hook or work on them. But I'm having quite a problem uploading to YouTube. It's taking almost all day to upload one video. Not sure why. In the beginning they were going up quickly, and now they're kind of taking quite a long time. So working on that. So I'm trying to, like I say, film, and then it usually will upload within the hour, but now it's been almost the next day. So if you subscribe and you're looking, you don't have to worry if you subscribe. It just automatically, the link will be sent to your email. And there you go. You don't have to go searching or wondering when it's coming up. It was daily because I'm trying to rug hook daily for at least 10 minutes. So some of these videos might just be 10 minutes long. I'm trying to keep them at 20 so I can add in the little things that I kind of learn as I go along with rug hooking, whether it's books or yarn or dyeing. If I found something new. I do want to tell you that I ordered my frame. Payment went out, and my new rug hooking frame should probably be here within about a week. So I'm very excited. And as soon as I get that, I will show you what that looks like, and we'll see if it's a lot easier than working with the clamps. And like I said, I love the clamps, and I still use it, and I almost didn't order that new frame because I love the method of it, and it's so easy, but I do have a little tendinitis, and those clamps are starting to kind of get to me. So that being said, I'm very excited that my new frame is coming. So I do have something to look forward to with that. And if anybody here watching, leave a comment about something that you're working on, or a frame that you love, or a product that's helped you with rug hooking, or something interesting about any of the new hooks that, I hear of these ergonomic hooks and the Hartman hook. I have just a basic hook that I started with from, over 20 years ago, and it's just a basic hook that I paid, I think, $4 for. So I see hooks out there now for $40, and I'm a little confused about that. I don't know why somebody needs to spend $40 on a hook, but again, rug hooking is a beautiful craft for the simple fact that it can go from very simple and inexpensive and thrifty, and that's part of the fun, is going to find your wool stash in the thrift stores. Please wash before you bring them in your house, down to hooking. And to very expensive, buying dyed wools and beautiful variegated yarns, and then you can combine the two. I like to spend my money on very good yarn. I have not yet ever purchased wool off of anybody selling it, like a vendor of that sort. I bought a whole bunch of wool from a woman who wasn't rug hooking anymore, but it was with everything. It came with books and magazines and all the backing, and you name it. I must have gotten a very good haul for that, and so I'm grateful. But since then, with that, she had a huge amount of white door wool, and so I have dyed so much of it into different variegated colors, and you know, to get the primitive look and the mottled look and the aged look. So it's been a lot of fun, and like I said, take out some RIT dyes and just go for it. Even if you have grandma's old skirt or an old pair of pants, in the gray heather over dyes really nice, and you could take a few different colors of the same heather gray wool and over dye it and use it in one rug, and it's an amazing effect. I've seen it done, and it's beautiful. So there's so many. There are no limits with rug hooking, and that's the beautiful thing about this craft, is there is nothing you can't try. You can hook anything into it. People have done all kinds of crazy things with their rug hooking with beautiful, beautiful results. So always try something and don't be afraid. Okay, so I have to get some more thread here and keep this going. Let's see. And at the end, when this is all done, I will be putting on my label, and I'll tell you about those. Most rug hookers probably have a label, and I really don't need to say much, but for those who don't, I think it's a good idea. It's not a big investment. Get a roll of labels made. There's so many websites to do that right now. You just Google it up, you know, fabric dressmaker labels, clothing labels, personalized clothing labels, anything like that will do. You could even buy just plain the fabric tape, I believe, at any of the craft stores, Michael's, Joann's, they might have them. This is what mine looks like. Okay, if you could see it. It's just a white label. It says an original by Annette S. And that's just the way I like to have it. And on there, I put the date in permanent marker for for washing clothes. Don't just use the regular markers. They sometimes bleed, they say. So, not that I plan on putting this in water, but you never know if something spills on your rug, or one of your little pets decides to find a little other use for it, which mine has done. It could bleed a little, and then you lose the date. So you want to use a laundry marker. You know, if the kids go away to camp, you mark their clothes. That's the kind of marker you want. So that's for sure not going anywhere. Okay, so I'm looking to see where I ended. Oh, right there's a pin. And sometimes if you're working and you don't know where you've done it, I sometimes I have little clips. I mean, these were from blinds, but as you can see, they're just a little clip. And I just clip the spot where I've ended. So if I walk away from it, I'm not sitting here looking where did it go and the needle and all that. I usually just take the needle and clip it right into it. So that's just a little thing I do. Okay. So we're just going to keep continuing here. This is knotted, and we're at the end. And like I said, I try to put that knot underneath the twill tape so you don't see any of these loose ends showing, even if it's on the back. I kind of like not to have too many little loose ends moving around. Okay, so that's in. And we're just going to continue here. And this has been very enjoyable. So I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for when you like the video and you give it a like. That's nice to know, because I'll continue doing this. And if I don't think you're enjoying this, or this isn't something that is going big, I will stop. So just please let me know by subscribing or leaving a comment if you want me to continue doing these. I enjoy it, and I hope you're doing a little hooking right now while you're watching. So it gives you your little special time of the day to say, hey, this is my time. I'm going to put on the Rug Hook and Talk Show, or maybe even another video on rug hooking, just something to keep you company while you're rug hooking if you're a solo rug hooker out there and you don't have a little group. I like to think that, you know what, now you do have a little group. We're all here in cyber world watching as we hook along. So, yeah, don't think you're alone, because now you're not. And there's a few nice websites. Like I say, Rug Hooking Daily is a great website and brings a lot of rug hookers together, and a lot of friendships have been formed, even if they're just over the internet and in the computer. There's still a lot of camaraderie going on with that, and that's a really good thing. So again, kudos to you, Heidi, for putting that out there for us. So I'd say I am about, let's see, we have to go up to here. So I am halfway done with this part, and hopefully this will get done soon. I won't be able to do the whole thing on here now. So what I'm going to say is, I'm going to end this now before this time runs out on this memory card. I just want to say thanks for joining me, and until we meet again, happy hooking.